Okay, so I'm going to go through the next 3 of the 8 brocades. The third one is called Separating Heaven and Earth. I gather it's meant to kind of separate out energies that have maybe got a bit muddled up. Earth, it corresponds to yin energy, heaven corresponds to yang energy. When the yin and the yang get too muddled up, there can be like stress, it can like stick around, it gets stale, something, you know. It's not good for these energies to be muddled up, so the idea of separating heaven and earth, separating the yin and the yang, is to just disentangle them basically, so that energy flows freely and it's not getting stuck in one place or anything like that. So that's kind of how this is supposed to work, from what I can gather. So start with raising your hands up sides and down here, then one hand pushing up, the other hand pushing down. You don't need to really stretch, just until it's kind of fairly comfortably as far as you want to go. Turn them over, so your bottom hand's facing up, top hand's facing down. Push them down, and then they'll meet around the chest. You want to have the hand going up on the outside, the hand going down on the inside. Push out with the hand that's going up, so that it's then pushing up once it goes past your chest. Do this again, so bottom hand is facing up, top hand is facing down. Bring them together. Once they meet around the chest area, push your hand out that's going up, so that it's then pushing up, and so on. Do this a few times. This is a fairly easy exercise, so you can end up doing this a few times, like that. Do it more smoothly, so like that. No, don't just stop. And then the other thing is you want to breathe in when you bring your hands together, and then breathe out when you're pushing them apart. So breathe in and then breathe out. Breathe in and then breathe out. In, out, in, out. And do those a few times. Don't need to do it more than 5 times. It's a fairly easy exercise. Do it as much as you feel like, I guess. So this one is a little bit more difficult and it's kind of more complicated. I don't know what it's called. So it involves standing in a kind of awkward stance. You need to have your knees out slightly, because you want to try and have your hips over your heels, and you need to imagine that your back is flat against a wall, so you have to push your bottom in, and then you need your neck kind of, the idea is that you need to have all the links in the spine, I don't know what they're called, on top of each other, because normally your back is curved and it'll go up there and then it'll go in a bit here. So, but you really need it to be completely, like, everything is on top, all of the links of the spine are on top of each other, and your hands out like this. This is quite an awkward stance, so that's, but try practicing it. If you don't feel you're getting it, just lean against the wall and make sure you can feel like every bit from down here to the top of the head is flat against the wall. So that's the stance initially. So then you want to start like this, facing forward, and then you need to turn your head slowly to the side, and it's just like each link is slightly moving until you can't really move any further, and then come back. And it starts with your head. Your head's the first bit, links in the spine, in the neck, start moving, and then it's like one by one, and move each one right down to the bottom of the spine until you've kind of gone as far as you go. You don't want to be stretching it out like that. Just want to move it so that it kind of goes naturally. So you're not, so when you first initially move your head, you're not actually moving your head, you're moving your spine. That's really quite important. So trying to start with your head, and then move the next bit, and then the next bit, until you're as far as you can go, back, there. You need to breathe in. This breathing is always important, so you breathe in as you're going up to about the halfway point, and then you start moving the rest, and then breathe out. As you get to your shoulder, you start breathing out, and then when you come back, start to breathe in. Once you get to about here, start to breathe out again, and you're kind of going to breathe in and then breathe out. And you really kind of need to stretch to down here. It's not your neck you want to stretch, it's down at the bottom you want to stretch. So you're kind of breathing out here, breathing in, and then breathing out again. So you'll do that like this. Oh, and another thing, your eyes need to be facing frontwards. You don't want to like move your head around so that your eyes are staying in the one looking at the same spot. Your eyes need to be moving with your head. That's quite awkward, so what I tend to do is blink a lot so that I can be sure that, because it's really hard not to just leave your eyes on one bit that you happen to notice. So how I do it is I just blink a lot, and that really helps to make sure that my eyes are staying right forwards in front of my head, looking forwards. Okay, so try and get the stance right. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, and breathing out. You might want to push your neck a little bit right at the end, but only you don't want to force anything too much. So because this is quite an awkward stance to stay in for very long, and it's actually, you're doing this quite slowly, I normally only do it about 3 times. I think that's probably enough for it. Sorry, I don't know what it's called. This next one is fairly easy. Do this one only 3 times. So again, you've got your, it's nice to have a little bit of a rest after the last one, to be honest, I find, when I'm doing this. Another thing, it's probably a good idea as a general rule to have a bit of a rest between exercises, just to allow any kind of energy flows to settle. And you know, another thing is you might be warming up, so you might want to take off a layer or something like that. But yeah, do be sure to rest and make sure that you feel ready to go on to the next one, because you don't want to stir things up too quickly. Like I said, these are not exercises to be like really gung-ho about. These are exercises to actually be quite careful with. So, next one, again, it's your hip width apart, hands like this, at the hips, facing out towards the ground, lifting your feet up onto the balls of your feet as high as they can go, and then you just bring them down a little bit, but you don't want the heel to touch the ground, and then bring them up again, down and up, down and up. So that was 3 times I've done it. You need to do it 7 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, and then rest for a few minutes, for a few seconds. Maybe if you're feeling particularly tired, a few minutes. But You don't need to, but you do need to bring your feet, the soles of your feet back down, give it a little bit of a rest, and then do it again. Breathe in as you go up onto the balls of your feet. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. That's 3 times. 4, 5, 6, 7. Lose count when you're doing this. Have a little bit of a rest again. And then you do this one more time. You only do this one 3 times. Okay? It feels quite easy. It's kind of a nice one to do, especially after that awkward one. But you only do this one 3 times through. Again. Up, on the top of the soles of your feet. Down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's the next 3. Sorry, I don't know the names of all of them. I don't think it's that important. Probably is, I don't know, there'll be people who will be getting annoyed about it, I guess.